level is very important. So maybe by having a short draw, they will have more energy for the last 2 rounds. You never know. Many people have different strategies.
Yes, and you mentioned short draw there, Irene, but it's actually not so easy to orchestrate a short draw because draw offers are not allowed to move past 30. And we saw the handshake from the players. And
E4? Do we expect E4 from Magnus Carlsen?
Yeah.
I think it is E4.
E4, I mean, Karthikeyan has a very sharp tactical style. You know, he's very well prepared. I'm expecting Magnus just to continue with the strategy of playing very tense, full of minor pieces, middle game, and just keep putting pressure on his opponents. And
he's not that far from the time control as it would seem, because 30 seconds increment, so you have to play solid moves like within 30 seconds and you're okay. For now, it's rather, I'd say, Carlsen struggles to create a threat.
But on the other hand, White does have Black's pieces all tangled up. So for instance, you know, the 2 knights, they're completely tied down.
Yeah.
You can't untangle. Yes, you can put your queen on B7, but then you're not moving the knight.
You'll play C6, then you'll play, I mean, if, let's say, I'm allowed to move on my own, so it's really queen B7, C6, queen to D7, king back to B7, and then I'll say, okay, finally I have everything's protected. And maybe gonna consider taking on D4. Again, it's like 4 moves in a row, we all understand it won't happen, but yeah, Black has at least like some plan of how to untangle this knot of pieces in the center.
Yeah, so Black can just make those little moves until the 40th moves. And also, it is not very clear how Carlsen can mud the water right now because he has significantly less piece on the board. And now Magnus is in serious trouble.
Like what potentially can be the target? Like H6 pawn would be lovely to take, but I can't really find a way to attack it.
You could step forward with the queen, for instance, to F5.
Yeah, like one thing you can do, you can actually capture this and take the pawn and they say, okay, I've won a pawn, but then Black captures D4, I would guess.
Yeah. And, okay, well, whilst Magnus is thinking, let's go over straight to the Maxudlu Nakamura game, which is just finished. It is a draw.
Just finishing a draw, right.
Let's take a look at what happened.
It's another eventful draw by Parham.
Yeah.
But there was some adventure before they got to that.
Yeah, so this after bishop e5, as you pointed out, d5 was perhaps the last chance of seizing the advantage. Instead, he captured on g7 first, when d5, where bishop b2 is possible because queen e2 does not work here and rook could have been taken in this case. Rook a2, bishop e5, rook to g1, queen d4. And when you exchange the queens with Black, it's such a, such a relief. So traded, rook e2, king d7, and this is the moment where you start to be somewhat scared with White, right? Because, yeah, you understand you had the advantage, but it's all gone by then, and it could be Black who's fighting for the win. But, yeah, Maxudlu managed to regain his composure, went knight f6, this knight was taken, and a draw agreed in this 4 rooks endgame.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a
searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah. is gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand.
Big relief for Magsudlu there at the end, because I suspected that Hikaru would actually turn that around. But a draw nonetheless, which means that Hikaru moves to 5 points. And Magsudlu as well.
You know what? We have draws on both leaderboards. So 5.5 is the highest score. Yakuboyev and Rigaisi we've already mentioned, I think. And then Narayanan and Sindarov just agreed a draw. So what a miss. But I feel like I should have played the tournament. I mean, after guessing such moves, but then, yeah. You know, it takes you a couple of days at the board to understand there was a big mistake to sign up for the tournament. So it won't be long.
Right, it is misleading sometimes when you comment, because you're very relaxed about the game. You don't have
Absolutely.
any psychological pressure, and you don't feel the narrative that the players have been experiencing. And there is an expression that says the spectator sees everything.
Right.
I mean, I've had it so many times where I've been playing a game and then the arbiter like literally comes up to me after the game's finished
And
and
asks,
says, you missed,
"What
you
did
missed
you
the
do?"
win. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh," and like both me and my opponent are just like, what on
Missed-
earth are you
yeah.
talking about?
And there was. Yeah,
And Bishop E3 on the board.
Yeah.
Well, yep. And let's put up the big mating idea that
So yeah,
Kayan
like
is
rook
threatening.
moves, and then it's knight d3, and there is no force that can stop.
Yeah, let's say
Check.
rook goes somewhere here, yeah? And then...
Bishop
wait,
e3,
knight
you
d3
can give it
immediately,
check.
Or... Knight d3 immediately in
No,
this
knight-
position.
knight
Rook
d3
g6,
wins.
knight d3
Yeah,
checkmates, yes, of
yeah, it's
course.
me.
That was the whole
And
point.
this mate, just fun fact, is called the Vukovic checkmate. After the Vukovic who wrote The Art of the Attack.
So wait a second. So after rook h7, king c6, yeah, and
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do.
And you have to take the knight in the end of this variation.
And is there any saving chances, any fortresses? Rook takes knight.
Black pawn's alive, right? Black pawn's alive, and that pretty much sums it up.
You can see Magnus shaking his head to lose with the white pieces.
Also, 2 games in one tournament, and not
It's a lot.
You know, not a round robin, but
Yeah,
you know, an
it's a
open
lot
tournament.
like this.
Yeah, and what a sensational result that we are about to see for Karthikeyan.
So
With a
Karthikeyan-
victory like this, he will share the lead.
Yeah, so he joins the leaders,
Yep.
and then is there anyone else who's joining the leaders? Because
Paravian,
I'm
if he
getting a
wins.
bit confused. Paravian, if he wins, is the only one, right?
Yes.
Giri,
Giri's on 4 points, so he will move to 5.
oh yeah,
And there are so many people starting the round
moving
with
to
4
5,
points,
yeah, moving to 5, of course, yeah.
I mean, still anything can happen.
Okay, so far there are 4 players.
4 leaders,
and a half.
which
Yes.
were leaders before today's round. They've made draws,
Yeah.
so they're clearly like leaders. And then, yeah, Karthikeyan will
And then those with
join.
4.5, they didn't win the game. Okay, we're waiting for Paravian and Karthikeyan, who
That's right.
likely to be winning their games.
Paravian with good cash. Yeah, Paravian is winning, kind of slowly but surely.
Later on in the game, where he allowed knight f6 attack, which would also have given Karthikeyan a win. But, well, a win was what Karthikeyan did get, and just what an achievement, though.
Yeah, well
to
done.
beat the world #1
With
with the
black
black
pieces.
pieces.